Imagine a moment that shifts the tide of a brutal war, where one person's courage can change the fate of nations. Meet John Doe, a hero who not only ended a conflict but became a symbol of hope for millions. What led him to this extraordinary act? Let's dive into his story. The world was engulfed in chaos, with a war that seemed unending, tearing apart communities and families. It wasn't merely a battle between two armies, it was a clash of ideologies that affected lives globally. Civilians were caught in the crossfire, and the desperation was palpable. Families were displaced, children orphaned, and neighborhoods lay in ruins. Amidst this turmoil, John Doe emerged, a man who saw not just the conflict but the human cost behind it. His journey began not with a battle cry but with a simple desire for peace. As tensions escalated, both sides faced monumental struggles. Resources dwindled, families divided, and hope began to fade. John witnessed the devastation firsthand and felt a call to action. He wasn't a general or soldier. He was an ordinary person who believed extraordinary change could come from anyone. He started by gathering information, speaking to those affected by the war, and understanding their fears. He listened intently to their stories, absorbing their pain and suffering, which fueled his determination to make a difference. John faced immense challenges: doubt from his peers, criticism from those who believed peace was impossible. Yet he pressed on, fueled by stories of families torn apart. He organized small community meetings, encouraging dialogue among people from opposing sides. These gatherings were risky, but John's sincerity drew people in, creating a safe space for sharing their stories. At these meetings, he often found himself moved to tears by the accounts of loss, despair, and resilience. Each story reinforced his resolve to find a way to bridge the divide. The defining moment arrived during a brutal confrontation. John organized a massive rally, inviting people from both sides to come together. Amidst gunfire, he stood before thousands, his voice unwavering. He spoke of shared humanity and the hope for a peaceful tomorrow. Many were skeptical, but as he continued, something shifted. People began to listen, and that moment marked a turning point. His bravery inspired others to lay down their arms. His words resonated deeply, echoing in the hearts of those who had long been entrenched in hatred and fear. John's speech recounted personal stories of loss, highlighting shared grief that transcended enemy lines. As he spoke, the crowd's energy transformed. People realized they were not just enemies, they were neighbors caught in a cycle of violence. The atmosphere shifted from hostility to hope, and for the first time, there was a glimmer of possibility for peace. Tears flowed freely as individuals recognized their shared humanity, and the barriers that had divided them began to crumble. In the days that followed, the aftermath of John's actions rippled through the regions. Allies hailed him as a hero, while enemies were bewildered. Some were angered by his defiance, but others began to question the war. News outlets covered the rally, igniting discussions about peace. The war's progression took an unexpected turn as ceasefires began to be negotiated. Conversations that had once been filled with animosity now turned to discussions of reconciliation and healing. John continued to hold meetings, attended by people who had previously been enemies. He facilitated discussions that allowed participants to express their fears and hopes. These conversations were emotional, filled with tears and laughter, as people began to see each other as human beings. John's efforts didn't go unnoticed. He received accolades and threats. Some viewed him as a traitor, while others saw him as a beacon of hope. He remained steadfast, understanding that the path to peace was fraught with obstacles. As negotiations progressed, John became a key figure in peace talks, advocating for a ceasefire and urging leaders to prioritize dialogue over violence. His influence grew, and he was invited to international forums to share his vision for peace. With each appearance, he spoke passionately about the power of unity and understanding, emphasizing that true peace requires effort from all sides. Looking back, John Doe's actions changed the course of the war and shaped history. His legacy became a beacon of hope, inspiring movements for peace and unity across the globe. The war eventually ended, but the journey toward healing was just beginning. John taught us that one individual could ignite change, and that courage is the determination to act despite fear. His work didn't stop with the end of the conflict. He became an advocate for peace building, traveling to other war-torn regions to share his message. His story captivated audiences worldwide, emphasizing the importance of empathy and dialogue. John believed peace was not just the absence of war, but the presence of justice and cooperation. He understood that rebuilding trust takes time and effort, and he dedicated himself to fostering relationships between former enemies. John's journey became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Through his tireless efforts, he not only changed the narrative of his own country, but also inspired countless others to seek peaceful resolutions to their conflicts. His story reminds us that even in the darkest times, hope can prevail, and that one person's voice can resonate with the hearts of many. What do you think about John Doe's incredible journey? Do you believe one person can truly make a difference in the world? The answer lies in the stories we choose to tell and the actions we decide to take. Together, we can build a future where peace reigns and understanding flourishes.